Sorry for switching up, but there's a Star Wars topic that's been on my mind in light of The Mandalorian. Don't worry, this won't contain spoilers, however parts of this may become outdated as the series is still ongoing. But I just wanted to give my insight on the debate as to whether Boba Fett is a true Mandalorian or not. The simple answer is he was, but now he isn't. George Lucas changed his mind around the production of the Clone Wars, similar to how Darth Maul was dead for more than a decade before being retconned back to life at Lucas's suggestion. However, the major difference between the Fetts and the latter instance is that Boba's canonical story being shifted around doesn't impact what we've seen on film, and this may have to do with the Mandalorians originally having a much different role during the Clone Wars, during the time of the original trilogy's production. Now, why does this classification as Mandalorian even matter? Well, the term Mandalorian was only made up to describe the extinct clan of warriors that Boba Fett belonged to in the pre-production for The Empire Strikes Back. This bit of backstory actually made it to mainstream canon after it was included in the film's official novelization. Though it's important to note that from this point on, the expanded universe took off with the lore, much of it without the input of George Lucas or the original filmmakers. So, Boba Fett was a Mandalorian in canon from April 12th, 1980 to January 29th, 2010, when it was retconned on the Clone Wars. You can understand why fans didn't warm to this change. Though something that might come as a shock is that there's evidence that George Lucas toyed with the idea of Boba Fett being a fraud in stolen armor before deciding to make him a true Mandalorian. This evidence comes courtesy of the Boba Fett fan club, who have provided the article introducing Boba Fett originally printed in the Star Wars newsletter, Bantha Tracks, Issue 5 from the summer of 1979. His backstory reads as follows. Not much is known about Boba Fett. He wears part of the uniform of the Imperial Shock Troopers, warriors from the olden time. Shock Troopers came from the far side of the galaxy and there aren't many of them left. They were wiped out by the Jedi Knights during the Clone Wars. Whether he was a shock trooper or not is unknown. He is the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, and cares little for whom he works as long as they pay. Something to note is that this is so early in production that the term Mandalorian was not coined yet. Instead, these elite warriors were referred to as Imperial Shock Troopers, which sure enough would find their way into Star Wars canon in a few ways. But the main takeaway is that it straight up says it's unknown whether or not he's actually a shock trooper. Either he was a holdover from an extinct group of warriors, or he simply happened across a set of their formidable armor. So despite George Lucas being able to change anything on a whim, it looks like there actually was a deliberate plan to have Boba Fett's stolen valor catch up with him way back in 1979.